Lucy and her two friends travel to Hawaii for vacation, staying at a house where Lucy's deaf father, her younger sister, and their pet chimpanzee, Ben, live. But just the day before, Ben was bitten by a wild mongoose that infected him with rabies. When Lucy's father leaves town for work, the young women are left alone and soon face a horrifying surprise in the form of a chimpanzee transformed by disease into a ruthless killer. Anyone with even a basic understanding of rabies will be stunned by how director and screenwriter Johannes interprets this very real and unquestionably dangerous, but decidedly non-zombie-like, illness in Primate. Taking inspiration from Stephen King's Cujo, Roberts concocts a story in which rabies turns a gentle household chimp into a cunning and calculating maniac who sets ambushes, toys with his victims, and even uses an electronic switchboard to terrorize them. In reality, of course, rabies works very differently, turning an animal aggressive but also completely irrational, quickly destroying its cognitive functions. In Cujo, the suspension of disbelief was still manageable. The rabid St. Bernards simply kept attacking the car where the protagonists were trapped. But the engine-driving Primate is impossible to buy. What happens on screen feels less like the result of a rabid mongoose bite, and more like Ben was bitten by a mutant spider that heightened all his senses and turned him into a super-powered creature. The film's main technical achievement is that Ben is not just, or even primarily, CGI, but an actor in a chimp suit, and the transformation is genuinely impressive. Actor Miguel Torres Umba perfectly captures chimpanzee behavior, and it's obvious the filmmakers put tremendous, meticulous, and highly inventive work into making it believable. You often forget that it's not a real animal hunting the girls, and that's a very good sign. Johannes is no stranger to the thriller and slasher genres. His filmography includes the 47 Meters Down duology, The Stranger's Prey at Night, and the Resident Evil prequel subtitled Welcome to Raccoon City. All of these films are simple in terms of plot, but expertly constructed as genre rides, and Primate is no exception. However contrived the central situation may seem, and however foolish the characters' decisions are, Roberts skillfully conducts our emotions, preventing analysis and compelling us to simply watch. Interestingly, in terms of tone, it's a fairly typical teen horror film, built around the pretty faces of young actresses, flashy visuals, and traditional jump scares. But Roberts deliberately pushes the rating higher by making the kills extremely graphic, detailed, and brutal. In one scene, a character loses his lower jaw in close-up, which Ben then mockingly tries on. Teenagers probably shouldn't be watching this, but adult fans of graphic horror might very well be intrigued. Commercially, the gamble paid off only in part. Primate didn't flop, but with its relatively hefty $24 million budget, it wasn't exactly a hit either. Still, both critics and audiences responded positively, largely forgiving its plot contrivances, derivative elements, and thin character development. Casting deaf actor Troy Kotsur as Lucy's father, and making the character deaf does allow for a couple of tense sequences built around that trait, but it's not exactly meaningful drama. For Roberts, this character isn't an opportunity to explore such a life experience. It's just a cool gimmick. After all, isn't it neat that he's walking around, unable to hear the killer chimp sneaking up behind him? Ironically, in this case, Roberts himself resembles a chimpanzee. There's undeniable logic and technical skill in his work, but no deeper layer, just instinct.